Hey, this is Anywhere and Anything Else. Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. We're finally doing it. Finally getting into House of the Dragon. I don't want this to be too long of an intro because I'm oddly excited to be getting to this finally. I have seen Game of Thrones. Um, like many others, I was thoroughly disappointed in the last season. It was a complete dud. And as such, when the show was announced, I was just not interested, not even in the slightest. I think I was also coming off of just kind of an I was watching too many shows basically, and there were a lot of them that kind of ended around the same time. There were a lot of them that kind of ended around the same time. And I kind of just didn't want to give more of my time over to something that I wasn't really that excited about. So I didn't pay any attention. I did see the first trailer when it dropped, and seeing that Matt Smith was in that, because I wasn't following any news at all. I don't know if he had been announced prior to that, but that was the first thing that kind of gave me like a glimmer of interest in the show. But even still, even then, I mean, it's been, I don't know how many years. Season 2 has been out for quite a while. Yeah, so just no like big rush to get to it. But I think I've I don't know. I've got some time on my hands now, and I don't know. Could be good. Could be good. I'm thoroughly interested in. Let's see. I don't know what I'm most excited about for this. I love Game of Thrones. I've never been hugely into dragons per se. I don't mind that there are dragons in it. But I'm less like I've seen a lot of reactions where people are like super excited about the dragons specifically. I don't care so much about the dragons, but more so for what they represent. They are sort of um, an encapsulation of just like power and status, um, both as a utility and in the way this world works, in sort of like a granting, I don't know, a divine right. I don't know, to the Targaryen family, at least within Westeros. Um, let's see. I've never read the books. I don't know that I have that much of an interest in ever doing that. But I did back when Game of Thrones was still airing and the very long intermissions between seasons. I did watch a lot of like YouTube channels that went into like the lore and sort of the politics and um, the positioning between like the noble families and stuff like that from the books. So I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about probably what's going to be happening in this show. I feel like those videos though, they're like very interesting while you listen to them, but I don't like, there's so much that I never like retain much of the information. So maybe there'll be things that I'll remember right away, or there'll be things that I should know but I don't know, and there'll probably be things that will be like coming back to me as I'm watching it. And most likely I've mixed up a lot of storylines and the wrong names here or there, especially with the Targaryen names. Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm wondering if they'll lean into some of the, because a lot of the shock value of Game of Thrones kind of like waned and fell off as we got deeper and deeper into the story as the seasons went by. I wonder if they'll bother with much of that with House of the Dragon, or if they'll just start out with the substance of it. I would prefer that, but whatever happens, happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. We are on episode 1. I don't know if these have titles. Oh, The Heirs of the Dragon. Interesting. Okay, here we go. Oh, I didn't even think about a theme song. What this might have, if anything at all.
As the first century
I'm actually not a big fan
the health
of the Game of Thrones theme song.
was failing. In those
Heirs.
House
10. Who's doing the voiceover? Is it like one per person? Or can one person command? Or does one person usually command more than one dragon?
The old king called a great council to choose an heir.
I don't have any like extended family.
The Prince Viserys Targaryen be made Prince of Dragonstone.
She doesn't look having Prince of Dragonstone on. That's nice. Kind of like Prince of Wales.
The only thing that could tear down the house of the dragon was itself.
So this is like the Civil War era for the Targaryens. I really do like that. Is that sigil? Is that artwork from the books, or do they make it for the shows? 172 years pre events of Game of Thrones. Okay, very good. All right, here we go. All right, so Viserys did take the throne. With or without incident will be interesting to find out. The Red Keep. I really hate that they tore down the Red Keep at the end of Game of Thrones. They have like dragon keepers outside of the Targaryens themselves. Why even bother? You're almost like begging him. Why can't the Targaryens take care of this? Like, are they no like minor members of the Targaryen family that can handle this? Why does it look like a prison hold carriage rather than something carrying a royal? This is only 100 years after, like, this is 100 years into, or 100 something years into the Targaryen dynasty. You think there'd be a bit more, I don't know, maybe 100 years is long enough for like this level of grime on like the buildings and stuff. I just feel like it could be a bit more like shiny and new. It's not like they built this year one, right? Maybe they did, slaves and all, but I do like the hustle and bustle, like how busy things are, as opposed to like the deterioration towards the end of Game of Thrones.
The childbed is our battlefield.
We must
Be
learn to face
both.
it with a stiff lip.
If you start young, then you could die
Now take a bath.
without having a kid.
You
I don't
stink
know.
of dragon.
Yeah. I never thought of how they smell.
Well, I believe you might be looking up the wrong end.
Somehow, I don't believe that was that funny.
Rhaenyra, you're late. King's cupbearer must not be late. Leaves people wanting
King's.
was visiting Mother.
on Dragonbank.
Your Grace, at
Why is everyone surprised that she was on a dragon? Is that like not a normal thing? Is it like only for like, did they only use it for war?
I think Daemon is distracted by his present tasks, and that his thoughts and energies
Interesting that a family member would be cupbearer, as opposed to like a member of like a
lighted.
younger member of a noble house is what I was trying to say.
you must understand.
Unless there are just so many Targaryens, like lower level Targaryens, that they just get included in ways like this. No one else to fill in for a cupbearer if she didn't show up. Is she Rhaenyra? I didn't catch her name. Dang it. Ah. Ooh.
Good.
More swords in the throne room. Nice. I think that's supposed to be a little bit more accurate to the books, I think. What'd you say as time went on? Oh, I gotta read. Oh, there he is. There's the man. I should have known. I should have known. Actually, no. How would I have known? So he's a troublesome uncle, but more competent than the likes of Euron. Why do I feel like this is gonna get weird? If not right away, then soon.
You aren't worried about your position?
I like this position. It's quite comfortable.
She's gonna be queen someday then. She doesn't actually
Where are you
want it.
going?
Home.
Although,
The
I don't
hour
like
has
people
grown
that
late.
push though. She reminds me of Loris with Renly.
What are you doing?
So you
That
remember
took ages to write. I'm suddenly just overwhelmingly excited to be watching this. So far, so good, I think.
Is it healing?
Ew.
It has grown slightly.
Why did I think he was getting a tattoo? Ew. From the throne.
Has been under heavy stress.
I was gonna say there could be like poison on one of those swords, but if it was like smelted into place, maybe the fire would have killed anything on them.
Whatever it is, it needs to be kept quiet.
Did he get poked or just like a sore from like sitting? He didn't sit for that long. She didn't seem to be doing so well.
It reminded her of
I was gonna ask if whoever the main girl we've been following is the same as the one that Arya was talking about early in Game of Thrones when she was talking to you, Tywin, I think.
This child is a boy, Emma.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it. I've never been more certain of anything.
I think you just want it too much.
The dream.
Oh,
It's
you had a
clearer
dream.
than a memory. Our son was born wearing Aegon's iron crown.
Might
I
be
heard the sound of it.
descendant further down that you dreamt of. A lot of these actors I've never seen anywhere else before, but I feel like if I did, the wigs would seem even more egregious. They're surprisingly nice to each other compared to some of the marriages we see in Game of Thrones. I understand wanting a male heir, but as old as your daughter is already, like, have you not been preparing her for possibly taking over? Like, I thought Jaehaerys just had no heirs at all. Which watch?
Now,
The City Watch? The Gold Cloaks. That's them, right?
home for the hunt.
Yeah, I was saying, I thought the main thing for the Targaryens was like the bloodline. But he has a brother, so he could take over. I suppose if there was just no one, then his daughter would take over. It should go down to the daughter, though. I feel like it's supposed to go vertically and not ever laterally, unless absolutely necessary. But considering they're Targaryens, they could both take it, I suppose. Not that the daughter wants it. I need to get her name right. I need to hear someone else say it again. Is it Rhaenyra or Rhaenyra's? I should have been listening to his little speech. Are these criminals or just people out after curfew? I don't know. Matt Smith has such a unique face. Okay. Why did we have to see that? Do they know who they're punishing, or they're just so confused? Okay, I did not need to see that.
The prince cannot be allowed to act with this kind of unchecked impunity.
He's too cruel.
Brother,
Damon.
Damon.
carry on. You were saying.
I feel like I know a Damon, but
Your new
I
gold
imagine
cloaks made quite an
someone
impression last night, didn't
different.
Did they?
The city watch is not
New
a
gold
sword to be
cloaks.
wielded at your whim.
The watch was enforcing the crown's laws. Wouldn't you agree, Lord
Like,
Strong?
did he install his own men into the City Watch, or why does he still have blood on him? It's morning. Did he not clean himself?
You've not been seen in the Vale or at Runestone for quite some time.
He has a
My
wife
bronze
already?
watch is happier for my absence.
He's married to someone from the Vale. Is she heir to the Vale, or just someone from the Vale? part of the noble family. Does that give them... Anyways.
You know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him?
So now it's his fault. Wait, he's hand. Why did I just notice that? What's the little ball marble thing? That seems new.
King's Landing has been in decline since my grandmother passed. In the end,
Is she telling you what to do?
City watch might be a good thing.
Oh no. I hear it. So he's married. I guess with the dragon you can get very easily from the Vale to King's Landing. People are just watching? Does he know they're watching?
Been made more auspicious by the news that I am happy to share.
Late.
Queen Emma has begun her labors.
I love how grand this theater is compared to what we saw in Robert Baratheon's day.
I asked for the favor of the queen who never was.
Rude.
Good fortune to you, cousin.
Okay, so they're related, so maybe not as rude.
Tongues will not change the succession. Let them wag.
Did he say Baratheon? I feel like I missed that a bit. So that comment about a queen who never was less a dig at her and more a dig at the king himself, which is interesting. I just realized if Daemon really wants to be king, it makes sense why he seems to show an interest in his niece. Or at least a fondness, whether that's true or whether it's authentic or just a ploy. I don't know. She seems to not be put off by him. No one would want to go up against him, surely not. He gets the pick?
High Tower of Old Town, eldest son
Old
of
Town.
the land of the king.
Oh, I see. Gawain Hightower. I've heard of him. Does she like him? Or she just doesn't like the violence in general?
I'm fairly certain I can win these games, Lady Allison. Having your favor would all but assure it.
I don't understand the favor thing. You ask for it? I thought they just give it to whomever they want. Whomever they choose. Something about the baby.
What's happening? The infant is in breach, Your Grace. All attempts to turn the babe have failed.
Seems like that used to be easier to watch when I was younger. The heck? Why are we killing people? Why didn't we stop it beforehand? Ow. Ow. Stop that. What's the point of... I thought the tournament's supposed to be fun. People are like winning money.
You can save the child.
Believes it's a boy. If it's not a boy, he's gonna be extra. I feel like he would find it hard to show affection to that child if it's not a boy, because that would be the reason he would sacrifice a wife that he seems to actually like.
They're going to bring the babe out now.
Oh no. I'm not gonna tell her. That is terrifying. People just coming at you with knives or whatever they use. Gonna sedate her in any way.
I love you.
I don't want to watch this. This is terrible. There's no way they could have like knocked her out or something. Oh man, if her daughter was here, I mean, I don't know what she could have done, but she certainly would have kicked up a fuss. Why is that allowed? Is it supposed to be to the death? I thought it was just a game. I didn't listen carefully to who this other guy was. Can't watch. Alright. And we move on. Oh! Was it? Why was he celebrating if it wasn't over? Doesn't want to kill the prince. Well, I suppose if they were both going to die.
He's Dornish.
I was hoping to ask for the princess's favor.
What if they say no?
Congratulations, Your Grace. You have a son.
Oh, really? Well, I think it was a girl. I think the Targaryens I'm thinking of were twins. Maybe not. Baelor. Interesting that he has a baby and not one of the midwives. I suppose it's the presentation to the king. So the Grand Maester. I don't know. Dragonstone? Or just somewhere by the sea? Would that also be Daemon's sister? Yeah, he has feelings.
Waiting for you.
Dracarys.
Daemon is my brother. My blood.
Interesting.
And he will have his place at my court.
Let him keep his place at court.
Oh, nice that he's here.
Daemon has ambition, yes, but not for the throne. He lacks the patience for it.
The gods have yet to make a man.
I was gonna say he doesn't do himself much favors by not attending, but again, I guess people would never speak freely in front of him, and he wouldn't be able to find out all of this. Eavesdropping as he is. This is eavesdropping if you're meant to be there.
Cannot agree on an heir, then how can we expect my wife and son are dead? I will not sit here and suffer crows that come to feast on their corpses.
I love that line delivery. I find it hard to see him as a commanding leader. I don't know, we haven't really seen anything of his ability to rule. Everything we've seen of him so far has been he's been in a state of desperation or distress, either wanting to be chosen as the next king, or desperate for a son, or mourning the death of some family members. Is this her father?
My darling.
Oh.
How's Rhaenyra?
Oh. Is she a spy or is she actually her friend? Or a bit of both?
How is his grace?
Very low. Which is why I sent for you. I thought you might go to him, offer him comfort.
In his chambers.
I feel like there'll be more than one problem there. But I'll hold my tongue for now.
You might wear one of your mother's dresses.
I was about to say, has he made such a request before? Because she seems to be very understanding of his meaning. Did her mother dress a certain way? What does that mean? Is this just for comfort, or the idea that he could have an heir through her? A bastard, as it were.
The Lady Alicent Hightower, Your Grace.
Hightower. Okay.
What is it, Alicent?
I thought I might come and look in on you, Your Grace. I brought a book.
I guess that's like saying, want to watch a movie. How much time does he have to spend on this? Is that Dragonstone? Or King's Landing? It's stone he's carving it. Well, what else would it be?
Your Grace, I have a report I feel compelled to share.
Oh no, do you hear about the speech? Oh no.
The council have long ruled my position as next in line for the throne.
But, dream and pray as they all might, it seems I'm not so easily replaced.
Did you say it?
I don't know what you mean.
You will address me as Your Grace, or I will have my Kingsguard cut out your tongue.
He's been so
For a day.
Did
like
you say
understanding and lenient with Damon. Surprised he would do that. I guess he just got carried away. I don't know.
We're still mourning our own way, Your Grace.
But instead of being by my side, O Rhaenyra's,
I feel like he always supported his brother. Upsetting, understandably.
I have only ever defended you.
You've only ever tried to send me away, anywhere but by your side. 10 years! Not once have you asked
Only
me to
10.
hold your hand.
Why would I do that?
Because I'm your brother.
Why didn't you just say you wanted to be hand?
Then why do you cut me so deep?
I've only ever spoken the truth. I see Otto Hightower for what he is. He doesn't protect you. I would.
From what?
Yourself. You're weak, Viserys. And that Council of Leeches knows it. They all prey on you for their own ends.
Well, then why not stick around and protect him from them? Why are you always...
I'm your heir.
Not anymore. You are to return to Runestone and your lady wife at once.
What the heck is Runestone? Is that the name of the castle at the Vale? I've never heard a name for it before. Another cut? Oh, that's supposed to be the thing. That's so sharp a cut to you. Even after 100 years, those knives haven't been blunted. I thought those used to be in the throne room. Or is that the throne room?
Father.
When you look at the dragons, what do you see?
What?
The idea that we control the dragons is an illusion.
What?
They're a power man should never have trifled with. I'm sorry, Rhaenyra.
So it's like
I wasted the years since you were born, wanting for a son.
It's like having a nuclear weapon, basically. You just gotta hold it, wield it
You are the very best of your
carefully.
And I believe it. I know she did.
Try not to. You know, it's like they've unleashed basically nuclear warfare.
In good faith and without deceit.
Does that position for her like make her less available? She seems like she's losing someone.
This is no
Hightower, Alicent.
Dragon's Saddle is one thing, but the Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
You gonna take her with you or no? She's quite bold. I mean, dealing with dragons is easy for them because they're not gonna burn if something goes wrong. Well, I guess they could eat them, but he seemed upset. Baratheon?
There's something else that I need to tell you. Our histories. They tell us that Aegon looked across the Blackwater from Dragonstone, but ambition alone is not what drove him to conquest. It was a dream. Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. Just to begin with a terrible winter, gusting out of the distant north.
Oh.
I, Rickon Stark, Lord of Winterfell.
Lord Stark. She get here so quickly.
Whatever dwells within will destroy the world of the living. When this great winter comes, a Targaryen must be seated on the Iron Throne. This secret, it's been passed from king to heir since Aegon's time.
Lovely. You fight to be king, and then you get named there, and
Promise me this, Rhaenyra.
you get to figure this out. What if somebody forgets to tell someone else, or like dies before they can pass on the secret?
I, Viserys Targaryen, first of his name.
Weird that he has to say his own titles.
Rhaenyra Targaryen, Princess of Dragonstone, and heir to the Iron Throne.
I wonder why they went with a bow and not a curtsy. I feel like a curtsy looks nicer if you do it right. I love all the finery, although it does look a bit funereal. Miguel Sapochnik. Do I know that name? Sounds familiar. Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pause there. Oh, it just occurred to me that they brought back the theme song for the outro there, the Game of Thrones theme song. That's a smart way to use that, I think. Some familiarity, but not overly so that it defines the show. In essence, the theme's not used at the start, but at the end. I wonder if that'll be every episode or just for this first one. I am actually really glad, really excited. That was really fun. It's probably for the best that I didn't try to watch this right away. I feel like I would have had a bit more of like a negative cloud hanging over the whole franchise, trying to watch this the first time. Or maybe this would have changed my mind. Served to change my mind rather quickly. Because this was very good. I love the pace of it. The look of it was very, very cool. I do still think it's like, I don't know, I feel like I would expect it is 100 years, but I just thought the Red Keep would look a bit more spick and span at this point in history. But there were other notable aspects, like at the tournament, just sort of the grand scale of that arena they were in, the number of people, like they made sure to show like the number of people, how much of a spectacle this was. I mean, it's just a lot different too in Robert Baratheon's day in season 1 of Game of Thrones, which is interesting because you would think it's almost the kingdoms were definitely already on the decline during Robert's reign. Like, usually there's this build up to more and more what's the word, just extravagance before things take that dive. And you would think I don't know, I guess I was thinking of Robert's reign as still part of that build up, or like the tipping point, but no, he was already on the other end of that, the other side of that tipping point, I think. Yeah, because especially with like the Mad King and probably some kings before him, like things had already begun to decline, probably as soon as the last dragon died, maybe, because the Targaryens would have lost their power. Anyway, yeah, so just the scale of things, the throne rooms, very interesting. I don't want to say too much. I don't want this to be a long outro. I did think it was quite interesting, the Targaryen family, the main Targaryen family that we're following here. In terms of the way a show is put together and sort of your antagonists and protagonists and whatnot, when comparing to Game of Thrones, I feel like this Targaryen family is both Stark, Baratheon, and Lannister sort of all mixed up into one. Like when you start season 1 of Game of Thrones, it's pretty clear cut that there's something a little slimy about the Lannisters. The Starks are our steadfast kind of like go-to main characters. Baratheon also like one of the good guys, but sort of like second tier to Stark, even though Baratheon's king. But they've managed to like wrap that all into one. Like there was aside from Daenerys, the Targaryens still feel like a bit of an antagonist. They're kind of, I kind of put them in the same column as the Lannisters, but not quite as bad, only because they're pretty much all dead and they're not causing any trouble for us now. But the legacy of the Mad King sort of lives on, and all the trouble that he caused right at the end of his reign. Yeah, so that, especially with what he did to the Starks, so that kind of puts them in that same column as the Lannisters. But in this one, right away, we're delving straight into, we're obviously meant to empathize with the Targaryen family. and that puts them in sort of the place of the Starks that the Starks had at the start of Game of Thrones. Starks and Baratheons, I would say. But then they're also, I don't know, they still are who they are, I guess, with the knowledge I already have of them. That's where that Lannisterness kind of peaks in, where it's like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be supporting this family. Like, King Viserys is surprisingly, well, well adjusted, I would say. I don't know, even tempered. Seemed to actually love his family, wife, daughter, and brother, even though his brother has caused him a lot of trouble at court. Seems he's quite a free spirit, but he always defends him. I don't know, so it's an interesting. I was ready coming into this to see Targaryens as an antagonist. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't really think that through. Like, who would they be antagonizing? Yeah, so it'll be interesting if how things will fracture and where the different pressures will come from. I wonder for how long. I don't know. Daemon is quite interesting because he seems to love his brother, but I feel like he could go about showing his support for his brother in a much better way. Like the whole idea that he doesn't believe Otto Hightower, or the council have his back, truly. It's like, okay, well then be there for him. Why are you never at council meetings when you're in town? Apparently he's not always around. And I guess he doesn't have the ability to temper his, I don't know, his own, like, he can't temper his own tendencies. Like the worst bits of him, he can't kind of hold that back in order to be that support for his brother. He kind of just does whatever, and that makes him hard to trust. Like, I understand why his brother would sort of keep him at arm's length. Probably try to give him things for him to sink his teeth into, have purpose, just be busy. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That speech, although we didn't really see it, I wonder if they'll ever go back to it, or if that's just how they chose to portray it. The speech he gave at the brothel or whatever. It's like, come on, like, why would you do that? Like, that in itself sows dissent and ill will against your brother by being willing to make a speech like that so publicly. Very interesting how they choose to. I wonder if this will be how they choose to cut between scenes. I wonder if this will continue through the series or if it's just something for this first episode. But there's a lot of times where you're kind of finding out, like Game of Thrones would like drop some information and then cut immediately to the person to whom that information pertained without really addressing it. Whereas this one kind of goes back and forth, almost like mid-thought of each scene. Very interesting. I had hoped for a little less of the sort of gratuitousness. But it looks like they decided to come in with a splash, go in with a splash for this first episode, or at least for this first season, for however many seasons going forward. It was all right. I didn't love gore. Doesn't usually bother me that much, but yeah, the scenes with Daemon exacting justice on ne'er dwellers in the city, that was a bit much. The Queen, I feel like we didn't have to see all that. I'd get the gist. I think there is there's something to be said about nuance and finesse in storytelling where not everything has to be shown. But yeah, they chose to go that route, so be it. what exactly is the I never understood. Well, no, I did. What is the honor in being a cupbearer? And also, does it depend on what space you're a cupbearer in? So, like, I already forgot her name. Is it Rhaenyra or Rhaenyra? The princess. Her being a cupbearer at the small council, is that a way to, like, how much of an honor is that? Because she's not on the council, but she gets to be in the room and she gets to hear everything that's happening. Like, nothing's a secret from her. It's like saying you're a member of the family, but I don't know. You're an important member of the family. But now with her being the heir, the official heir, would it still be appropriate for her to be a cupbearer, or just give her a seat on the council now? Or is there other things she needs to be doing to prepare herself? I don't know. It's just very interesting because he clearly has love for his daughter. He just was very, because she said, yeah, his wife had attempted to have more children many more times, 5 other times. He just seemed very certain that she wouldn't be his heir, and so then why put her through all the rigors of that preparation and the dangers of it and all that? Why not just let her live her life how she chooses? Yeah, she seemed very free-spirited, but unfortunately, he almost seemed like he was like, he would have to. He didn't seem. He seemed almost guilty, like, in having to name her his heir. Like, he would rather have not have done that to her, but now he has no choice. And not only does he not have a choice, but he's now made that choice quite late in her life. Like, he could have started earlier to prepare her. But I guess you also don't want to give a person that expectation and then rip it away from them, which is what Damon is feeling right now, I guess. So we'll see where that goes. Does it go like complete like 180 where it's just animosity between the two? She seems to have, the princess seems to have quite some affection for her uncle. I don't know if that's going to end up being like the Targaryen thing that happens, because then they wouldn't have to fight over the throne, but I don't know. Also, her and Alicent, the princess and Lady Hightower. I don't know where that's going. I feel like I can kind of see where it's going, but that could just be decisions on the filmmaker's part. It could either go, I don't know, one way or the other. Either way, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a happy ending there. And if it has to not be a happy ending, I hope it doesn't end in betrayal. That would be unfortunate. Speaking of betrayal, it's quite interesting that Damon is an interesting character because he conceded his loss at the tournament. The tourney. I don't like saying that. It sounds weird in my accent. So he is able to, like, if you think of someone with a temper of like, he doesn't have an uncontrollable temper like the Mountain might have just killed that guy. He's just a little bit too impulsive. I don't know. Anyways, I've really, really enjoyed this. I don't know when I'll be able to watch the next episode. I wish I could watch it right now. Probably be a couple days, hopefully not much longer. But yeah, I'm excited to get into the rest of this. I have 2 seasons to get through. I have no idea when or if there's even another coming. I would be surprised if there wasn't. But yeah, I'm just going to try to take my time with this series and not rush through it too quickly. Try to listen a bit more carefully because I missed a lot of names. I was about to say that's another thing I'm really excited about, getting more representatives of the various noble houses to sort of like play with and move around. It's like chess pieces and whatnot. So it'll be really interesting. And the dragons' names as well. I'll need to. Is Meraxes one of the current dragons, or were they just naming a previous dragon? Anyway, Yeah, that will be all for me. This has been Anywhere and Anything Else. And thanks so much.